Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely, because this might just shift your entire dating life. Here's the truth. Women are not attracted to men who give them everything. They are attracted to men who protect their energy, guard their standards, and lead with boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors. And high-value women, they only walk through doors that lead to strength, self-respect, and purpose. If you don't respect yourself, don't expect her to. High-value women are magnetized by men who carry themselves like they matter. Stop begging for attention. Stop lowering your standards. Your life, your time, and your energy are precious. Treat them that way. A man who lets anyone, anytime, drain his time, that's not attractive. Block out time for your goals, your fitness, your purpose. A high-value woman doesn't want to be your everything. She wants to join a man who already has something worth protecting. Masculinity isn't about being stone cold. It's about being steady. No yelling, no chasing, no emotional chaos. She needs to know that no matter what storm she brings, you stay grounded. That boundary of emotional discipline is magnetic. Never apologize for expecting respect, loyalty, and honesty. A high-value woman doesn't want a doormat. She wants a man who calls her higher. The moment you enforce standards, you separate yourself from 90% of men. Your mission comes first, not in a selfish way, but in a purpose-driven way. A man anchored in his vision is irresistible. Because a high-value woman doesn't want to be the mission, she wants to join the mission. Yes, self-care is a boundary. Protect your health. Guard your sleep. Take care of your body, your mind, your finances. A man who cannot lead himself cannot lead a relationship. So remember this. Boundaries don't push high-value women away. They filter out the wrong ones and draw in the right ones. When you stand on boundaries, you don't just attract, you inspire, you lead, you command respect. Because the truth is simple, high-value women are not looking for perfect men. They are looking for men who know their worth and guard it relentlessly. Respecting yourself is the foundation of every powerful boundary you will ever set. It is the first and most critical key to attracting a high-value woman, because no matter how much success you achieve, how much money you make, or how attractive you appear on the outside, if you do not honor your own worth, people will sense it, and they will treat you according to how you treat yourself. When you respect yourself, you are sending a clear message to the world that you understand your value. You are not desperate for validation, you are not begging for acceptance, and you are not chasing approval at the cost of your dignity. Instead, you show up as a man who knows what he brings to the table and refuses to compromise it just to be liked. This confidence is magnetic. High-value women are not drawn to men who bend over backwards, neglect their needs, and abandon their goals just to keep someone interested. They are drawn to men who have the courage to say, "This is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is what I will not tolerate." Respecting yourself also means you understand the power of no. Too many men fall into the trap of saying yes to everything, even when it costs them their peace, their time, and their self-worth. But when you respect yourself, you are willing to say no to situations, people, and behaviors that don't align with your values. You don't chase after someone who gives you the bare minimum. You don't tolerate being disrespected or overlooked. You don't allow your kindness to be mistaken for weakness. Instead, you protect your space, and by doing so, you force others to rise to the standard you've created. Self-respect also influences how you carry yourself. It shows up in your body language, the way you speak, and the energy you project. When you respect yourself, you walk with presence. You look people in the eye, and you engage in conversations without shrinking or seeking approval. Your confidence isn't arrogance. It's simply the result of knowing you are worthy without needing constant reassurance. A high-value woman can feel this energy the moment you walk into a room. She sees that you don't need her validation to feel whole, and that independence is what draws her closer. Another element of self-respect is discipline. When you hold yourself accountable to your goals, your health, and your purpose, you are demonstrating that you take yourself seriously. Respect isn't just about what you won't tolerate from others, it's also about what you demand from yourself. If you say you are going to do something, you follow through. If you set a boundary, you uphold it. If you decide to grow, you commit to the process. This consistency builds trust in yourself, and it shows high-value women that you are reliable, dependable, and capable of leading with strength. Finally, respecting yourself creates a natural filter. It weeds out people who are not aligned with your values and attracts those who are. When you carry yourself with self-respect, You are not easily swayed by shallow validation or fleeting attention. You aren't impressed by empty words or superficial interest. You know what you deserve, and you are patient enough to wait for it. High-value women admire this because it proves you are not desperate, you are selective. You don't chase just anyone, because you know your worth is non-negotiable. In the end, self-respect is not about pride or ego. It's about understanding that your life, your time, and your energy are valuable, and you are responsible for protecting them. When you embody this principle, you automatically create an aura of strength, confidence, and authority that high-value women cannot ignore. They are not looking for perfection, they are looking for men who have the courage to value themselves first. And when you set that standard, everything else in your life begins to rise to meet it. Protecting your time is one of the most powerful boundaries a man can set, and it is a boundary that instantly sets him apart in the eyes of a high-value woman. Time is the one resource you cannot get back, and how you choose to spend it reveals exactly what you value most. If you constantly give your time away to anyone who asks for it, if you waste it on distractions that don't serve your growth, or if you let people disrupt your schedule whenever they please, you are communicating that your life is not in order and that your priorities are negotiable. High-value women are highly attuned to this. They are attracted to men who understand that their time is sacred, that their goals matter, and that their focus cannot be easily broken. When you guard your time, you are making a statement about your direction in life. You are saying, I know where I am going, and I won't allow anything to pull me off course. That discipline is magnetic because it signals that you are a man on a mission, and high-value women naturally want to align themselves with men who are building something meaningful. A man who is always available, always waiting by the phone, or always dropping everything for attention, may think he's proving his devotion, but in reality he is proving that he lacks boundaries. Instead of appearing generous, he appears desperate. Instead of appearing strong, he appears scattered. Protecting your time is not about being cold or distant. It's about demonstrating that you know what matters and that you live with intention. High-value women want to join a man who already has a full life. They want to see that you are committed to your health, your ambitions, your growth, and your responsibilities. When you consistently allocate time for your fitness, your career, your learning, and your personal development, you show that you respect yourself enough to invest in your future. That, in turn, earns respect from others. A man who is always distracted, who spends hours on social media, or who sacrifices his goals just to please others, will not command the admiration of a woman who values discipline and focus. She does not want to be the mission, she wants to walk alongside a man who already has one. Protecting your time also teaches others how to treat you. When you set clear boundaries around your availability, people either learn to respect your schedule or they drift away because they cannot handle your standards. This is a powerful filter. Low-value individuals expect you to be at their beck and call. They become offended when you don't drop everything for them. But a high-value woman admires a man who is selective with his time. She recognizes that if you are intentional with yourself, you will also be intentional in your relationship. She knows that when you choose to spend time with her, it means she truly matters, because you don't give your hours away carelessly. Another layer to protecting your time is learning to prioritize peace. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every conversation needs a reply. Not every opportunity is worth your energy. Saying no becomes a form of power because it gives you space to focus on what really matters. When you practice this discipline, you eliminate the noise that distracts most men. You stop being reactive and start being strategic. This not only makes you more productive and successful, but it also makes you more attractive because you stand out as a man who knows his worth and does not compromise it. Ultimately, protecting your time is about protecting your life. Time is the currency of your existence, and once it is spent, it cannot be replaced. A high-value woman is not drawn to a man who wastes his most valuable asset. She is drawn to a man who invests it wisely, on growth, on purpose, on building something bigger than himself. By guarding your time, you create a life that commands respect, and that respect becomes the magnet that draws the right woman into your world. Staying emotionally grounded is one of the most underrated yet powerful qualities a man can embody, especially when it comes to attracting and keeping a high-value woman. Emotions are natural, and every man experiences anger, frustration, excitement, and even insecurity at times. But what separates strong men from ordinary ones is the ability to control those emotions instead of being controlled by them. When you can remain steady in the middle of chaos, you project a sense of strength and leadership that women instinctively admire and respect. High-value women are not drawn to men who react impulsively, who lose control at the slightest challenge, or who collapse under emotional pressure. They are drawn to men who are calm, measured, and capable of navigating life with balance. This doesn't mean being cold, detached, or robotic. It means having the self-awareness and discipline to respond with clarity rather than react with volatility. Emotional grounding is what allows a man to handle conflict without yelling, to face rejection without falling apart, and to make decisions from a place of confidence instead of fear. When a man is emotionally grounded, he becomes a safe space. In relationships, there will always be tests, disagreements, and moments of tension. A woman who is truly high value doesn't expect perfection, she expects leadership. She wants to know that if she brings her emotions, her stress, or her insecurities into the relationship, her man will not escalate the storm but will instead be the anchor that steadies the ship. This doesn't mean absorbing disrespect or tolerating toxicity, but it does mean having the ability to remain calm, to listen with presence, and to respond with strength rather than defensiveness. That sense of stability creates trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. Emotional grounding also plays a massive role in attraction. Think about the men who come across as needy, clingy, or desperate. At the root of those behaviors is a lack of emotional control. They allow fear of loss to dictate their actions, chasing validation and constantly seeking reassurance. A grounded man doesn't operate from scarcity. He understands his worth and knows that his life is valuable with or without approval from anyone else. That independence is magnetic because it signals that he cannot be easily shaken, and high-value women want to stand beside a man who cannot be broken by insecurity. Another aspect of emotional grounding is resilience. Life will throw challenges, financial setbacks, career struggles, personal disappointments, and the way a man responds in those moments defines his character. A man who panics, blames others, or drowns in negativity is not attractive. A man who remains calm, finds solutions, and keeps moving forward is irresistible. He shows that he is not a victim of circumstance but a master of response. That composure is rare, and rarity is always attractive. Developing emotional grounding takes practice. It requires self-awareness, the ability to pause before reacting, and the discipline to master your own triggers. It's about choosing not to escalate small conflicts into big battles. It's about handling rejection without letting it destroy your confidence. It's about maintaining composure in the face of chaos because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. The more you build this muscle, the more naturally you embody leadership, and leadership is exactly what high-value women crave. At the core, staying emotionally grounded is about showing that you are not ruled by fleeting feelings, but guided by principles. You don't allow moods to dictate your behavior. You don't let frustration turn into disrespect. You don't let fear drive your choices. Instead, you stand firm, composed, and intentional, no matter what's happening around you. This quality alone can set you apart, because in a world full of men who crumble under pressure or explode under stress, being the one who stays calm is a rare and magnetic strength. High-value women are not searching for men who mirror their storms. They are searching for men who can calm them. And when you embody that, you don't just attract, you inspire lasting respect and loyalty. Enforcing relationship standards is one of the strongest demonstrations of self-respect a man can make, and it is a quality that instantly sets him apart in the eyes of a high-value woman. Many men are afraid to set standards in fear of losing a woman's interest. But this is a mistake that often leads to disrespect, imbalance, and even manipulation in relationships. The truth is simple: if you do not decide what you will and will not tolerate, someone else will decide it for you. And once that happens, you are no longer leading your life, you are reacting to it. High-value women are not attracted to men who accept anything just to keep someone around. They are drawn to men who know exactly what they deserve, and who have the courage to walk away from situations that fall beneath that level. When you enforce relationship standards, you are communicating that your time, energy, and heart are not available to just anyone. You are not desperate, and you are not settling. You are intentional about who you allow into your life because you understand the influence a partner has over your happiness, your growth, and your mission. A high-value woman admires this because it shows her you are selective, and that when you choose her, It means she is truly special. A man without standards, on the other hand, comes across as weak because he is willing to accept mistreatment, disrespect, or dishonesty just to avoid being alone. That kind of neediness repels high-value women because it reveals a lack of strength. Enforcing standards is not about being controlling or rigid. It is not about making unreasonable demands or trying to change a woman into someone she is not. Instead, it is about clarity and self-respect. You know what values you stand on: loyalty, honesty, respect, kindness, and you communicate those clearly. If someone cannot meet those standards, you do not argue, beg, or compromise your dignity, you simply walk away. This ability to walk away is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have, because it shows that his sense of worth does not depend on the approval of another person. High-value women want a man who can call them higher. This doesn't mean criticizing or controlling them. It means inspiring them to bring their best selves into the relationship. When you have standards, you naturally encourage your partner to meet them. For example, if your standard is honesty, you do not tolerate lies, no matter how small. If your standard is respect, you do not allow yelling, insults, or passive-aggressive behavior. By holding firm to these boundaries, you set the tone for the relationship and create a space where growth and respect thrive. Many men lose themselves in relationships because they confuse love with tolerance. They think that to prove they care, they must accept poor treatment, inconsistent behavior, or lack of effort. But real love does not grow where standards are absent. Real love flourishes when both partners are held accountable to values that strengthen the bond, not weaken it. Enforcing standards ensures that the relationship is built on mutual respect, not on one person giving everything while the other takes advantage. A high-value woman respects a man who enforces standards because she knows that if he is strong enough to hold her accountable, he is also strong enough to hold himself accountable. It shows discipline, self-control, and leadership. She knows that he will not allow the relationship to become toxic, stagnant, or unbalanced, and this gives her confidence in his ability to lead both himself and their connection towards something meaningful. At the end of the day, enforcing relationship standards is not about pushing people away. It is about filtering out those who do not belong in your life. It protects your peace, preserves your energy, and ensures that when love does come, it is real, balanced, and built on respect. High-value women do not want men who bend and break for anyone. They want men who know their worth, protect their standards, and are not afraid to stand alone until the right person comes along. By enforcing your standards, you are not limiting yourself. You are elevating your life and creating space for a partner who truly deserves you. Leading with your mission is one of the most powerful boundaries you can set, because it instantly separates you from the majority of men who drift through life without direction. A man with a mission has clarity, focus, and purpose, and that energy is magnetic to high-value women. They are not looking for men who make them the center of their universe. They are looking for men who already have a universe of their own, a vision they are committed to, and a path they are determined to walk. When you lead with your mission, you communicate that your life is about more than temporary pleasures or shallow validation. You are building something greater than yourself, and anyone who joins your life has to respect that. A man without a mission is easily swayed by distractions. He spends his time chasing attention, seeking approval, and pouring his energy into situations that do not elevate him. This kind of man quickly loses respect in the eyes of a high-value woman, because she knows she cannot build a meaningful life with someone who has no direction. On the other hand, a man who leads with his mission does not get pulled into unnecessary drama, games, or distractions because he is too focused on where he is going. He is not desperate for love, he is not desperate for attention, and he does not need constant validation, because his sense of fulfillment comes from pursuing his purpose. That inner drive makes him rare, and rarity is always attractive. Leading with your mission also demonstrates discipline. It shows that you are willing to sacrifice comfort for growth, that you can say no to temptations, and that you have the patience to build something lasting. These qualities are not just admirable, they are inspiring. A high-value woman does not want to be the mission, but she wants to walk alongside a man who has one. She wants to see that he is anchored in something greater, because that gives her confidence in his ability to lead a relationship, a family, and a future. When a man is deeply connected to his mission, he becomes unshakable. Life's challenges may slow him down, but they cannot stop him, and that resilience is deeply attractive. Another reason leading with your mission is so powerful is because it filters the type of women who come into your life. When you are clear about your vision and you consistently live by it, you naturally attract women who align with it and repel those who do not. A woman who values growth, discipline, and ambition will be drawn to a man who leads with purpose, while a woman who thrives on chaos, distraction, and games will find no room in your life. Your mission acts as a standard, silently declaring, "This is where I'm going," and only those who support this journey can come along. This ensures that your relationships are built on alignment rather than compromise. Leading with your mission does not mean ignoring love, neglecting relationships, or treating people as secondary. It means putting your life purpose at the core of who you are so that everything else revolves around it in harmony. A high-value woman doesn't want to compete with your mission, she wants to support it. She wants to add value to your life, not become the reason you lose focus. When she sees that your mission comes first, she respects you more, because she knows you are not a man who can be easily swayed, manipulated, or derailed. At its core, leading with your mission is about identity. It means you are defined not by the opinions of others, but by the vision you are chasing. It means you wake up with intention, you live with clarity, and you measure your success not by temporary wins but by progress towards something greater. This type of man is rare, and that rarity commands respect. High-value women are drawn to him because they know that being with him means being part of something meaningful. They know that his love is not based on neediness but on choice, and that choice is infinitely more powerful. Prioritizing self-care is not just about looking good or taking time off. It is about recognizing that the way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. A man who values his body, his mind, and his overall well-being demonstrates discipline, self-respect, and strength. These qualities are magnetic to high-value women because they reveal that you are capable of leading yourself before you try to lead anyone else. If you cannot take care of yourself, how can you be trusted to take care of a relationship, a family, or a future? Self-care is not a luxury. It is a boundary, a declaration that your health and peace of mind are non-negotiable. When you prioritize self-care, you show that you are not willing to burn yourself out for the sake of pleasing others. Many men make the mistake of neglecting their health, ignoring their mental state, or sacrificing rest in order to chase validation or success. While it may seem noble to sacrifice endlessly, it actually communicates a lack of balance. High-value women are not drawn to men who destroy themselves in the process of trying to impress others. They are drawn to men who know how to protect their energy, recharge, and stay grounded. A man who looks after himself signals that he will bring stability, not chaos, into a relationship. Self-care also demonstrates discipline. When you commit to eating well, exercising regularly, and maintaining good habits, you prove that you can stay consistent even when it's not convenient. Discipline is attractive because it shows that you are in control of your life, not at the mercy of laziness or temptation. A high-value woman sees this and respects it because it reassures her that you will apply the same consistency and effort to the relationship. On the other hand, a man who neglects his health or allows himself to fall into destructive habits communicates that he lacks control, and lack of control is a red flag to someone who values growth and stability. Another aspect of self-care is mental and emotional health. Taking time to rest, reflect, and reset is just as important as hitting the gym. When you invest in your peace of mind, through meditation, journaling, reading, or simply unplugging from constant distractions, you cultivate clarity and emotional balance. This makes you more resilient, less reactive, and better equipped to handle challenges. A high-value woman doesn't want a man who falls apart under stress. She wants a man who can stay composed, adapt, and lead with strength. By caring for your mental health, you build that foundation. Financial self-care is another layer often overlooked. Managing your money wisely, living within your means, and planning for the future are all forms of self-care. They reduce stress, create security, and demonstrate foresight. A high-value woman will not be impressed by reckless spending or financial chaos. She will be drawn to a man who respects his resources, because it shows maturity and stability, two qualities essential for building a lasting partnership. When you prioritize self-care, you also create boundaries that filter out people who don't respect your lifestyle. If you go to the gym at 6 a.m., you are unlikely to entertain someone who constantly pressures you to stay out late. If you are disciplined about your mental health, you won't tolerate relationships filled with unnecessary drama. Your self-care routine acts as a shield, protecting you from environments and people that would drain your energy. This naturally attracts women who value the same things, ensuring your relationships are built on alignment rather than compromise. At its core, prioritizing self-care is about showing that you love yourself enough to invest in your future. It is about recognizing that you cannot give your best to the world if you are running on empty. High-value women respect this deeply because they know that a man who takes care of himself will also be better equipped to take care of them, to show up fully, and to build a meaningful life together. By making your health, peace, and growth a priority, you set the tone for everything else in your life. You are saying, without words, that you are a man of value and that you expect nothing less in return.